Hello, sports fan. This is Steven here for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the winners and the losers of yesterday's first round of the NFL draft for the first round. Before I get right into that, I'm going to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Looking at NFL teams yesterday, they were looking to make a spark. They were making them to make moves all through the first round of the NFL draft. You had a couple of guys that made pretty impressive jumps. You have a couple of guys that slid. And we're going to be focusing on the three winners and the three losers from yesterday. So I'm going to start with number 3. And this is going to be pivotal because number 3 comes in as a winner. And it's not necessarily for what they did on the draft day, but it's what they did getting the job done. But looking at the Baltimore Ravens, they did sign Lamar Jackson. That's tremendous. And then you look at what they were able to do with Zay Flowers from Boston College, a big, strong speedster. And you're looking at what they have already in Baltimore with Odell Beckham. And then from the standpoint, you look at Rashad Bateman, a speedster. You're looking at this offense, and also you do have Mark Andrews at the tight end position. So you have a offense that's forming, and Todd Monken from the University of Georgia is now there in Baltimore. So this offense is starting to look like it's coming into form. Baltimore went from not having an offense just with Mark Andrews to now you're having potential deep threat, slot receivers. You're having go-to guys on the offense for the Baltimore Ravens. So that's a big pickup. Lamar Jackson signing is a big pickup, just like you got a draft pick. And you look at Zay Flowers from Boston College is a big move there. Coming in number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at what they were able to do, not only trading up to get Jalen Carter, who had a little bit of concerns as far as his off the field, but when you're looking at just the pure football talent, he's probably the best overall prospect in this draft. Looking what he did at his body work of Georgia, very disruptive, very being able to put your hand in the dirt and get crazy, no matter if it's the defensive tackle position or if it's a DN position. He's out there doing what he needs to do. And then the second part of that, Nolan Smith, being in a late round pick, being able to get 2 edge rusher defensive tackle combos. You're looking at what they lost in the offseason, and you're just looking at this roster and you're like, what's going on here? And you're looking at them keeping Darius Slay, Bradbury, Brandon Graham, having gotten Jalen Hurts to an extension as well. This offseason for Howie and the Philadelphia Eagles has been slam dunk. That's why they're at number 2. Coming in at number 1, the Houston Texans. When you're able to get 2 cornerstones, not only did you draft C.J. Stroud, who is a pretty good quarterback, the best pure passer in the draft, and you're looking at Will Anderson Jr. as well. Being able to get a linebacker / DN combo who's a hybrid who can put his hand in the dirt and he can also get back and cover and play in coverage is a phenomenal thing. And you got to keep in mind the coach that he has. DeMeco Ryan is one of the best. He can literally be your guru. He can help you not only learn and grow. So you got to think the biggest part of this is being able to go to some place where your skill set is going to be exposed in a good way because the coaching staff believes in you. And then you got to keep in mind, this is going to be something that's going to raise their game. Both of these guys are going to be looked at as leaders in the locker room. Both of these guys are going to be looked at, and then you got to think, having these guys start their journey together is a beautiful thing. Going 2 and then trading up to 3 for the Cardinals, it was a slam dunk for the Houston Texans. And those are the 3 winners from yesterday. Now we unfortunately turn to the losers. We got to look at who lost on yesterday. We're going to start with one of the biggest losses, and you got to think the Buffalo Bills. In the first round, where you have Stephon Diggs needing help in Buffalo, they not only trade up, but you got to think they trade up and they take a tight end. No disrespect at all, and you got to keep in mind Dalton Kincaid. You got to think from Utah. He's a phenomenal tight end, but you got to think they also have Dawson Knox in Buffalo already. You got to think the skill set for Dawson Knox is a better fit than Kincaid is for the offense. You need wide receiver help for Stephon Diggs. He needs help because oftentimes it's throw the ball to Stephon Diggs, just toss it up there, and that's the offense. Because when Singletary wouldn't be able to run the ball last year before he left, you got to think it's just scramble, and then throw it up. If Stephon Diggs doesn't catch it, it's an interception or incompletion. So this offense needed work. They had plenty of wide receivers that could have been taken in the first round. They could have traded up a little bit more to go get a first-round receiver. But you got to think, the Bills are still hanging in the balance right now. This is a bad look for Buffalo because they needed a wide receiver. You had plenty of talent in the first round that you could have went and got. Coming in at number 2, Just being honest with you, the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have so much going on. There's talk about Mac Jones being possibly traded. There's talk about offensive coordinators doing defense doing offense. You got it's just so much. It's so much going on behind the scenes. It's dysfunction. So you had a couple of players that the Patriots could have taken. Instead, you see them essentially not really pulling the trigger when they needed to. And you have players on the board that they could have taken that immediately could have made an impact on that team. From rushers to tight ends. You have a number of things that can help this offense because the offense is anemic. The New England Patriots need to make moves in the draft. They need to draft better prospects because lately they haven't been hitting on anything. That's where they're at number 2 for the losers of the first round of the draft. And coming in at number 1, I feel kind of bad for the guy, but Will Levis. But just being honest with you, the green room shots all night of him and his family, him and his girlfriend, it's tough. And you got to think, he boasted the biggest arm in the draft. You heard this several times throughout the process, throughout the combine. He boasted an impressive body as far as physique. And you think that, he came to the draft thinking, hey, I'm going to be a first-round talent. And, he didn't even get drafted. You got to, in three of the first 4 picks off the board, you had Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson was not a quarterback, but then you had Anthony Richardson as well. Once you think about it, the Indianapolis Colts, they're going against what they're normally going towards. When you think about the Indianapolis Colts, what do they usually draft? They usually draft guys that look like Will Levis. But the book on Levis is they're saying he's Carson Wentz Jr. So they're saying, okay, in Indy, what did the schemes and head coaches do in Philly? They game plan a plan for Jalen Hurts that allowed him to execute and show his skill set on the biggest stage. So ultimately, Will Levis is punished essentially because he may not have that same skill set. He's mobile, but he may not have what Jalen Hurts has as far as running. And then there was talks about his attitude. There was talks about him being brass. There was talks about him not potentially having a attitude you want in your locker room. So essentially, you got to keep all this in mind. You don't know what a smokescreen it is. I feel like the Houston Texans use him as a smokescreen. A lot of people said, the Texans want Will Levis. I believed it. They floated the idea out there just to take C.J. Stroud. So that's why unfortunately, he's the biggest loser. He's not an NFL team, but he personally took a loss. It's worse than Aaron Rodgers. Remember, Aaron Rodgers sat there in the green room longer than expected. So hopefully this can motivate him. Hopefully this can help him. Hopefully this can make him grow. But, right now he's the biggest loser in the first round. So all you NFL fans, get in the comment section. Who do you think are the 3 winners? Who do you think are the 3 losers? Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus for all the updates and all the breakdowns. We'll see you on the very next video.